Loss is universal, be it academic, personal, or professional. Yet, we always find a way to bring ourselves up and stand up to it. By me. Yes, along with poetry, I also write quotes. And honestly, this quote, when I actually published this poem, when I actually released it on my Instagram account, was, it just came in my mind. And whenever we do think about something that we do, something that we do, something that we really put our heart and soul into it, and it completely like it completely backfires on your face, it does hurt. But we always find a way to bring ourselves out of it and motivate ourselves out of it and find the bright side. And that is something for me. What I do is through music, and I would say that is a big theme in a lot of my poetry. Like whenever I write, I do listen to a lot of songs and then I do it, and it always helps. Hey guys, welcome to Poetry Musings. This is your host Farha, and today's poem is one that was similarly incredibly special to me. And this was one of my earliest times that I wrote a poem inspired by a song. And now let's get to the poem. My little pet project. I put so much of my effort into this, yet it fell through the cracks. My little pet project, my passion, it all fell apart. How can I go on from this? How can I forget this failure? This little disaster that imploded in my face. I don't want to give in to that empty feeling, that voice in my head telling me to give up, the one telling me that there's nothing beyond this failure. I want to move on, but the nagging voice and my own fear is stopping me. What if my next project is also a failure? What if that's all I know how to do? I finally did move on, but it was very hard. The voice was persistent, but I managed to mute it. The next project I did ended up being a success. This time, the voice didn't taunt me. Instead, it encouraged me to do better. Yeah, honestly, okay, now you might be wondering, how did I write a poem like this inspired by a song? It was not one song, it was actually two songs. And it was not one, it was two songs actually. And I was in college when I wrote this, and this was I think, one of my first poems I wrote within my campus. I've written multiple sitting at campus with my headphones in my ears, listening to something, or just, just for the feel of it, I'll just put my headphones in and I would write so that no one will disturb me. And this is one of those first ones. And the two songs that inspired this was Fix You and Viva La Vida by Coldplay. Coldplay was a band I discovered when I was a kid. The first time I ever listened to them was while coming back home from school, and one of my busmates ended up putting the genre switching on the radio, and we listened to something just like this. And that was the first time I ever listened to Coldplay or Chris Martin, and I really liked his voice. And then after that, I went back and I didn't really think about it. Years later, when I was listening to songs on Spotify. Um, Fix You ended up coming in my playlist, and I listened to it. Absolutely loved it, and I was like, "Okay, this is a band that did something just like this. You know what? I'm going to listen to the whole library." And that's how I discovered Viva La Vida. And ever since then, to this day, I absolutely love that song. Fix You is one I always go back to whenever I'm not in a good mood, whenever I'm just a little upset. It always makes me cry, and honestly, in a way, when you're really upset about something and when you cry, it it helps you release those emotions, so it does help. And I was incredibly happy and I was really grateful. And when I was listening to the songs, once it came up in my playlist, I was like, wait a minute, something just sparked in my mind. And the thing was, I had class, so I just wrote it down. I just wrote it down as a tiny idea, and I left it at that. I didn't. I revisited once I went back to my room. I was like, I was kind of bored, and then I remembered, wait, there's that idea for a poem you had. Why don't you just check it out? So I went to my room, put my headphones back in. I played those two songs, like the same songs that I was listening to when the idea came, and I wrote it down. And once I wrote it down, I was like, oh god, this is amazing. This is the first time I wrote something like this, and it really felt good. Honestly, I was wondering why. For a second, I actually thought, why did I write this poem in this way that too? And then I realized we will always, anytime, we would always have this one thing that we're really passionate about, that we really want to do, that this big project. And at times, the more deeper and deeper you go into it, you completely, it gives you tunnel vision. It gives you this kind of laser focus that you don't really see anything around you. And from that tunnel vision, what happens is you're just completely focused. You don't know what is going on around you. And after a while, honestly speaking, it really helps. In a lot of projects, when you actually have that tunnel vision, it really helps. But at the same time, when you're neglecting things around you, sometimes you're neglecting people, sometimes you're neglecting, like if you're in college or school, maybe it's your studies, maybe it's some other daily actions. If you're living by yourself, it may be something as simple as laundry. And what happens is, once everything is over, once the project is over, if it ends well, it gives you that cathartic feeling, oh my god, this went great. But if it does not end well, it gives you that feeling like, oh god, why did I even go to do it? This just completely blew up in my face. Like, what is wrong with me? What was I even thinking? Like, your mind goes on a tangent and you don't even realize what is going on. So I would say that feeling was kind of something that once I wrote the poem, I realized, like, okay, kind of captured that feeling, that kind of weird catharsis that sometimes comes with writing. That cathartic feeling that comes in, okay, I am done with this. Oh my god, I actually did a great job. Or if it implodes in your face, you're like, why? But whatever that feeling, whatever that project is, some way, shape, or form, you would revisit it. Like for me, it was actually reading. I'm a huge reader, and I kind of stopped reading for a while because I got busy with my college, and then I got busy with writing. I just stopped reading. Then after a while, I picked up a book, and I was like, wait a minute, I haven't read in months. This is so bad. And I really helped. The laser focus that I had in terms of college really helped, because instead of reading, I was into a lot of other activities that was going on in college, like that, like dancing, and with activities within my department and things like that. I was really busy. But once I think I neglected reading, it really kind of blocked something inside of me. And that block kind of went when I actually wrote this poem, because I was listening to songs and I wrote it. I was like, why do I need to listen to a song whenever I'm writing a poem? I don't always need it. And I realized, like, whatever block that was there of creativity that was there in my head, it kind of went away. And once that block went away and everything just flowed out of me, like the whole poem flowed out of me, I was like, this is great. This is really great. And I genuinely liked it. And I genuinely liked the feeling of writing and just releasing it out. That's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening. This is Farha signing off. I'll be back next week with the next poem. We'll see which one I end up coming up with and how I ended up, how and what inspired it, honestly, because this was by a song of all things. I mean, not one, but two songs. Still, it was by a song. So we'll see how things go. Okay?